You know, most of us believe that peace comes from finally getting what we want. But what if that's completely backwards? The 19th century philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer had this really disturbing idea. What if the very act of wanting is the thing that keeps us restless, anxious, and dissatisfied? Let's dig into that.
I bet you felt it. That weird sense of burnout, even when you've done everything right. You hit the target, you get the promotion, your post goes viral, and the good feeling lasts for, what, a minute? It's this little dopamine hit that just vanishes, and it's quickly replaced by a new anxiety or maybe just a flat, dull sense of boredom. You are definitely not alone in feeling this.
And right here, this is where the whole idea just flips our entire approach to happiness on its head. See, Schopenhauer's argument isn't that you're failing to get what you want. His argument is that desire itself is the trap.
So to really get why, we have to talk about something he called the will. He argued that this constant striving, this nonstop engine inside of us, it isn't some personal flaw or a product of modern life. Nope, it's a fundamental psychological engine that's literally built into human consciousness.
Now, when Schopenhauer says the will, he doesn't mean your personal willpower or your ambition. He's talking about something way deeper. It's this blind, impersonal force that just pushes all living things forward. It's that twitchy impulse that makes you refresh your feed, add one more thing to your online cart, or start planning your next career move the literal second you've achieved your last one.
And this is the absolute kicker. This force, this will, it isn't designed to make you happy. It couldn't care less about your happiness. Its only goal is to keep going, to perpetuate itself. The moment one desire is satisfied, another one has to pop up to take its place, to keep that engine running. It's like an endless algorithm. Its purpose isn't your satisfaction, it's just to keep you engaged, to keep you striving, forever.
And this just perfectly illustrates Schopenhauer's famous idea that life basically just oscillates between pain and boredom. The pain is the wanting, the boredom is the emptiness you feel after you get it, and that tiny fleeting moment of satisfaction in the middle, that's all the relief you get before the whole cycle just inevitably starts all over again.
Suddenly, all these pillars of modern life, hustle culture, chronic dissatisfaction, that feeling that no matter how much you rest, you never feel truly restored, they all start to make a terrifying amount of sense, don't they? Burnout isn't just from overwork. It's from the constant psychological pressure of the next desire.
Okay, so if the will is the problem, what on earth is the solution? Schopenhauer called it the denial of the will. But this is probably one of his most misunderstood ideas, so it's super important that we get this right.
Let's be really clear. This is not about giving up on life or hating existence or anything nearly that traumatic. It's a quiet internal shift. It's about loosening your psychological attachment to your desires and just dialing down that constant feeling of inner urgency that's always pushing you from one goal to the next.
And Schopenhauer was extremely clear on this point. He argued that even suicide isn't a denial of the will. It's actually a powerful expression of it. Why? Because it's still driven by an incredibly intense desire, the desire to escape suffering. True denial is so much quieter, so much more subtle than that.
Okay, so if this is the path to peace, why is it so incredibly hard? I mean, why does the simple idea of wanting less feel so threatening? Well, the answer lies in just how deeply our modern identities are all wrapped up in what we want.
I mean, really think about it. Our social media bios, our resumes, our 5-year plans, what are they? They're basically just lists of our wants and accomplishments. Our whole identity, our personal brand, is often just a carefully curated collection of our desires. Who would you even be without your drive to achieve?
And because of that, letting go can feel absolutely terrifying. It can feel like you're letting go of your very self. Detachment can feel a lot like emptiness at first, but that's only because we're so used to the constant noise of wanting.
So here's a key takeaway. If you try to quiet your desires, and it feels uncomfortable or scary or wrong, that's not a sign that you're failing. Schopenhauer would say that discomfort is actually proof of how deeply the will is dug into your mind. It's the will fighting back, defending its territory.
So this brings us to the final and maybe the most helpful part of all this. What does this quieter path actually look like in practice? Well, it all begins by shifting our ultimate goal away from the usual idea of happiness.
See, happiness, in the way we usually talk about it, is just that temporary relief you get when a desire is fulfilled. It's a flash in the pan. It's fleeting. Peace, on the other hand,
is what's left over when the inner noise of wanting finally quiets down. You don't get it by getting more. You find it by releasing your grip. It's stable. It endures. And a really beautiful side effect of this is that as your own desires start to quiet down, you actually become more aware of the world around you. Schopenhauer believed that true compassion just arises naturally when you're not constantly preoccupied with your own striving, your own competing, and your own defending. So how do you actually start? It's not with some grand gesture. It's with small, tiny acts of awareness. Just start noticing things. Notice how often your own discomfort comes from just wanting things to be different than they are. Observe how incredibly short-lived satisfaction really is. And try to do things because they need to be done without tying your entire sense of self-worth to the outcome.
And let's be real, this philosophy doesn't promise to remove life's external challenges. It's not going to make your life easier. But by dialing down that internal pressure of constant wanting, it can make life feel significantly lighter.
And really, in the end, what Schopenhauer's philosophy offers is something incredibly rare in our hyper-ambitious world: permission. It's permission to stop the endless chase, not because you failed, but because you finally understand the game. It's permission to seek peace, not by getting more, but by understanding more.